On my 50th birthday, the house was empty. No wife. No kids. No celebration. Then I saw the photo from the beach. They were all there, without me. This isn't a story about revenge. It's about how silence can destroy louder than any words. For my 50th birthday, my wife promised something special. Just wait, she said. Something big is coming. She'd say it with this secretive little smile, like she was sitting on a surprise so amazing I'd never forget it. My kids were in on it too. Every time I asked, they'd giggle. We can't say, Dad. You'll see. So I waited. I didn't plan anything myself. I didn't book a dinner or call my friends or organize a party. I trusted them. On the day of my birthday, I came home from work early. I walked into an empty, silent house. No streamers. No music. No balloons. Just nothing. I checked the kitchen. No cake. No dinner in the oven. Not even a post-it note. I called my wife. Straight to voicemail. I texted both my kids. No reply. I stood in the middle of my living room, still holding my briefcase, in total silence. That's when I opened Instagram. And there it was. A photo of my wife, my two kids, and just to twist the knife, my in-laws. All smiling. All wearing sunglasses. All on a white sand beach with drinks in hand. The caption? Family time. My son had commented underneath. He won't even notice we're gone, LOL. I didn't cry. Didn't rage. Didn't scream. I just sat on the couch, closed the app, and stared at the wall. The first thought that hit me wasn't even anger. It was confusion. Like, how long had they been planning this? Was this the something big? A birthday surprise that didn't include me? Or was it something worse? I sat in that silence until the sun went down. Then I made myself a sandwich, ate it in the dark, and slept on the couch. The next morning, still no messages. I went to work like nothing happened. Didn't say a word to anyone. But that night, lying awake in bed, alone, I started thinking back. The signs were there. How my wife had been emotionally distant lately. How the kids had been spending more time at their grandparents'. How they'd whisper in the kitchen when I walked into the room. I thought they were planning a party. A gift. Something. But they were planning a getaway. Without me. 3 days passed. Then suddenly a buzz. 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 My phone lit up like a Christmas tree. 47 unread WhatsApp messages. Missed calls. Voicemails. Instagram tags. Facebook messages from my wife's mother. My wife's first message just said, "We need to talk. Please answer." My son's was more direct. "Why are you ignoring us? This isn't funny." And my daughter, "Dad." Mom's freaking out. "Please, just say something." But I didn't. Not yet. Because by then, I had started digging. I went through her public posts. Scrolled back months. Looked at her tagged photos, her comment threads. Checked our family group chat history. And what I found made my blood run cold. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't a misunderstanding. They had been planning this trip for weeks. And the worst part? They had made alternative plans for my birthday dinner with someone else. My wife's best friend had posted a now-deleted story of them all toasting wine around a candlelit beach table. Next to my wife sat a man I didn't recognize. You couldn't see his face clearly, but the way she leaned into him, it wasn't friendly. My chest tightened. I saved the video, zoomed in, watched it over and over. My daughter was laughing in the background. My son was filming, and I realized. They all knew. I didn't respond. Not that night. Not the next morning. Not even when my wife's messages turned from guilt-tripping to full-on panic. She started with, "This isn't what you think." Then, "It was just a short break. We thought you'd enjoy the alone time." By the third message, "Why are you being like this?" It was almost funny. Like she actually thought I wouldn't notice that I'd been erased. I checked the house again. Her closet? Half empty. Bathroom drawer? No makeup bag. Even the perfume she wore every day gone. The toothbrushes? Only 2 left. Mine. And a spare. They didn't forget me. They excluded me. Intentionally. So I did the only thing I could think of. I watched. I didn't block them. Didn't argue. Didn't show my cards. Every night, I'd sit in my office with the lights off, scrolling. Checking who liked what. Who commented on who. Every interaction was a breadcrumb. And then I saw it. A photo on my daughter's private story. I almost missed it. It was blurry, taken at sunset. A group sitting around a fire pit on the beach. One hand stood out. A man's arm, wrapped around my wife's waist. His fingers grazing her hip like it was nothing. Like they'd done it 100 times before. She didn't flinch. Didn't lean away. Just smiled. Tag. Hashtag vibes. No mention of me. No hint that this was my birthday week. That they had left their husband, their father, alone in a cold house while they played happy family with someone new. I clicked on the profile. Private. But his profile picture showed enough: sunglasses, expensive watch, smug half-smile. I didn't recognize him. But he was there. And I wasn't. That's when something in me snapped. Not in the screaming, breaking things kind of way. No. This was quieter. Colder. I didn't want to yell. Didn't want to chase. Didn't want to beg. I wanted to observe. And remember. Because if this was a game, they just gave me all the pieces. They thought I was passive. Predictable. Harmless. But I've built businesses from nothing. Negotiated contracts worth millions. Survived recessions and layoffs and betrayals far worse than this. I've waited out storms. This was a light drizzle. So I started preparing. I dug into my accounts. Checked what was under my name. Spoiler alert, everything. The house. Mine. Cars. Mine. Credit cards. Joint. But guess who pays them? Savings. Retirement. College fund. All under my hand. And I realized. They didn't just forget me. They depended on me. And now? They didn't know I was done. The first thing I did was call the bank. Not in panic. Not in anger. Just business. I asked about the joint credit cards. How to remove an authorized user. The rep paused, probably thinking marital trouble. But she didn't ask. 5 minutes later, the cards were locked. Her name flagged. My approval required for every new transaction. Next, the house. I double-checked the deed. Yup, just me. No joint ownership. No co-signers. When we bought it, she said she didn't care about paperwork. Now it was going to cost her. I called my lawyer. Told him I wanted to quietly begin separation proceedings. No announcement. No filing yet. Just prep work. He asked one question. Is there someone else? I didn't answer. Because even if there was, that wasn't the point anymore. The betrayal wasn't about a man's arm around her waist. It was about the dinner table left empty. The birthday forgotten. The years discarded like trash. This wasn't rage. This was clarity. I walked through the house that night. Not like a broken man, but like a landlord inspecting his property. All the little things I paid for. The TV. The backyard deck. The fridge she filled with organic crap I never touched. The couch she picked without asking. I saw it all differently now. Not as a home, but as a ledger. She took a vacation. I took an audit. Next up, the family car. Registered to me. Insured by me. So I did something simple. I logged into the app and shut off remote access. No unlock. No start. No drive. Let's see how fun your little beach trip is when you're stranded. By day 4, her tone changed. From, why are you doing this? To, I'm scared. What's happening? I didn't reply. She called 3 times. I let each one ring out. On the 5th day, I got a message from her mother. Please talk to her. She's not sleeping. Interesting. Didn't seem to have trouble sleeping in that beach photo. Didn't look tired when she smiled for that man holding her waist. But now she was anxious. Good. Because I wasn't done. She came home on a Thursday. I knew, because the door camera sent me a notification at 6:47 a.m. She was dragging 2 suitcases. One pink, one navy. The kids followed behind her, moving slowly. Sleepy. Confused. Quiet. She didn't knock. She still had her key. But when she turned it in the lock, the door didn't open. I had the locks changed 2 days earlier. She tried again. Jiggled the handle. Looked at the camera. Then she rang the doorbell. I watched it all from my office. Miles away. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent a single text. There's a letter for you in the mailbox. You're not locked out. Just not welcome in. 5 minutes later, I saw her read it. 3 pages. Neatly printed. Signed. It wasn't a rant. Not even an accusation. It was a timeline. The date she booked the trip without me. The photos she took with him. The expenses charged to our shared account. The message from our son. He won't even notice. And at the bottom? I did notice. I just didn't speak. Until now. She stood there, frozen, holding the pages like they were burning her hands. The kids said nothing. My daughter was crying. My son was staring at the ground. Then I sent the second message. You have until Sunday to remove your things. After that, the locks change again, permanently. She finally broke. Texted. Can we please talk in person? I replied. You already did all the talking. I just wasn't there to hear it. The rest of that day, I left my phone on silent. I spent it walking through a new apartment I'd already leased. Clean. Minimal. Quiet. I had transferred some basics there, clothes, documents, my laptop. It wasn't grand, but it was mine. That night, I slept for 10 hours straight. No tension, no weight in my chest, just peace. Meanwhile, she was blowing up every contact we had in common. Her mother, my sister, even old friends we hadn't spoken to in years. Every version of the same story. He's being cruel. He's overreacting. This is all a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. And deep down, she knew it. Because she didn't deny the trip. Didn't deny the man. Didn't even ask me how I knew. She just begged for time. But time was the one thing I had already given her. 10 years of marriage. Birthdays. Anniversaries. Holidays. Sacrifices she never noticed. Support she stopped appreciating. And on the one day that was mine, she gave it to someone else. So no, I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to drag us through court. I wasn't going to fight for a family that left without saying goodbye. I was just going to walk away. With everything I came with. Plus my dignity. She didn't leave Sunday. She didn't even try. Instead, she showed up again that morning, this time with her sister and a suitcase full of theatrics. They rang the bell. Knocked. Even called out my name like it was a sitcom, and I'd come downstairs with coffee and forgiveness. I wasn't home. I was sitting at a diner 3 blocks away, sipping black coffee, watching them on my phone screen. Eventually, they left. But not before her sister looked straight into the door camera and said, "You're being dramatic. She's your wife." That word used to mean something. Now it sounded like a punchline. She texted me later that night, "We need to talk. The kids are confused. You're scaring them." And that's when I made the one move she didn't expect. I picked up my phone. And I called my son. Not her. Not to argue. Not to accuse. Just to talk. He answered fast. His voice low. "Dad?" I kept it short. I told him he wasn't in trouble. That I wasn't angry. But I was disappointed. That comment, "He won't even notice we're gone," it hit hard. He went quiet. Then he said something I'll never forget. I didn't mean it. I thought it was just a joke. That sentence? It said everything. He thought it was a joke. Because she made it one. Because she led him to believe that leaving me behind was somehow lighthearted. Funny. Deserved. I didn't correct him. Didn't guilt trip. I just said, "You're old enough to start noticing who shows up and who disappears." He asked if we could meet. So the next day, I met both of them at a local park. Just me. My son. My daughter. No lawyers. No drama. They sat in silence for a while. Then my daughter, the one who had posted beach pictures with glowing captions, looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Why didn't you come with us?" I looked at her. Steady. Calm. Because I wasn't invited. She blinked. Then turned to her brother. "You said it was Mom's idea." He shifted uncomfortably. "She said you were too busy. That you just complained the whole time." There it was. The rewrite. The version of me she'd been feeding them. Distant. Negative. Boring. It was easier to erase me if I was already painted as unworthy. So I let the silence hang. Not to guilt them, but to let it sink in. They had been used. Not maliciously, maybe, but strategically. Their mom had twisted the narrative, turned them into props in her escape. And now, for the first time, they were beginning to feel it. My son asked, "Are you divorcing her?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I asked him something. "When was the last time she asked you how I was doing?" Another pause. Then he nodded. They got it. They finally got it. She noticed the shift almost immediately. Maybe it was how quiet the kids became. Maybe it was the way they stopped defending her. Or maybe it was the questions. Because that night, she called again. Not me, them. And this time, she didn't sound sweet. She sounded nervous. She asked what we talked about. Where we met. Why they didn't tell her sooner. And they told her the truth. Nothing dramatic. Just facts. They said I didn't yell. Didn't blame. Didn't even mention her name. That I just listened. She couldn't handle it. That night, she sent a message to my phone. "So now you're trying to turn them against me?" I didn't reply. Because I wasn't turning anyone. I was just not lying. And when the truth starts breathing on its own, it doesn't need to be shouted. It just sits there. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Unavoidable. By Friday, she was unraveling. The text came in waves: guilt, anger, bargaining. First, "You're punishing all of us for a single mistake." Then, "This is emotional abuse." Then, "Fine. If this is what you want, I'll tell the kids everything. I'll say you abandoned us." That one almost made me laugh. Almost. Because there it was again. the performance, the script. Except this time, the audience wasn't clapping. Because the kids weren't stupid. They saw who was steady and who was spiraling. That Sunday, my daughter messaged me. Mom says you're going to ruin her life. Are you? I took a breath, then wrote, she's doing that all by herself. I'm just not stopping her anymore. That afternoon, the house camera caught her screaming on the front porch. Not crying, not begging, screaming. Alone, in daylight, in yoga pants and yesterday's eyeliner. Yelling into the wind, at a door that no longer opened, at a man who no longer answered. I watched it once, then deleted the footage. Not out of kindness, out of peace. I didn't need to replay her downfall. I had already seen it coming. She went online. Of course she did. The carefully filtered life had to be maintained, even if it was falling apart behind closed doors. One Monday morning, I woke up to her new Instagram post. Photo, her and the kids, smiling in a park. Caption, no matter what happens, we stay strong. Family above all. She turned off comments. Naturally, I didn't react, didn't like it, didn't say a word. But later that day, something changed. A mutual friend sent me a screenshot of a Facebook post. It was long, performative, full of vague pain and exaggerated sacrifice. She wrote about being a mother abandoned, about being blindsided, about how some men check out of a marriage long before they ever leave the house. No names, but everyone knew. The reactions poured in. Hearts, sad emojis, comments like, you're so strong. I knew something was off about him. If he left, he didn't deserve you. And still, I said nothing. Not because I was weak, because I knew what she was doing. She needed a new narrative. One where she was the victim. One where I was the cold, distant man who just stopped loving his family. But narratives fall apart under facts. So I made one move. I sent a single email to my lawyer. Attached were files. The beach photos. The booking receipts. The screenshots. The chat logs. The timeline. No drama. No threats. Just evidence. I didn't post. Didn't clap back. Didn't expose her to the world. I let truth do the work. Because when people don't get the reaction they expect, they panic. And oh, she did. 3 days later, she posted again. This time, it was a black screen. Caption, taking a break from social media. Please respect our privacy. Translation, the walls were closing in. The mask was slipping. Our mutuals weren't reaching out to her anymore. They were texting me. Some apologized. Some stayed neutral. Some just said, we had no idea. I didn't need a crowd. I didn't want applause. But I did want something else. Silence. And now, I had it. The envelope landed in her mailbox on a Thursday morning. Stamped. Signed. Delivered by courier. Inside, 27 pages of pure, quiet finality. Petition for divorce. Filed. Irreversible. She didn't respond right away. No rage. No voicemail. No tantrum on the porch. Just silence. For a moment, I thought she might have finally accepted it. That maybe, she understood this wasn't anger anymore. This was closure. But I gave her too much credit. That weekend, the text came back. Longer. Heavier. Panicked. You're making a mistake. What about the kids? We can fix this. We can go to counseling. She even tried playing the old hits. I was stressed. You were distant. We both messed up. But no, this wasn't a both problem. This was a you chose to erase me problem. And now, I was finishing the job. Then, just when things went quiet again, she called a meeting. A family dinner. Said it was just to talk. She invited the kids. Asked me to come. Said she wanted to do this the right way. I knew what that meant. Image. Optics. Control. She didn't want a conversation. She wanted a stage. But I agreed. Not because I believed her. Because the kids deserved to see it with their own eyes. We met at a quiet Italian place we used to love. One of those places where the waiter knows your drink order and the lighting is always warm. She showed up first. Lipstick. Earrings. Dress I hadn't seen in years. Trying to play nostalgia. Like memories could erase betrayal. I just nodded. Sat down. Let her talk. She started soft. Said she missed us. Said we should think of our history. Then shifted. Said the divorce would destroy the kids. That they were already confused. That they needed clarity. That's when I leaned back. And said, then let's give them some. I turned to my son. Do you feel more confused now? Or back when I wasn't speaking? He looked down. Then quietly. Back then. I turned to my daughter. What about you? She hesitated. Then nodded. You're calmer now. My wife froze. The script didn't account for them thinking for themselves. So she tried again, raised her voice a little, started listing the damage I was doing, the chaos I was causing. And that's when my daughter cut her off. 6 words. Soft. Devastating. But you're the one who left. The table went quiet. No one looked at her. Not even the waiter, who silently refilled our water like he'd seen this scene before. She didn't cry, didn't scream, just stared, like she'd finally seen the cliff edge and realized she had jumped. 3 days after the dinner, she showed up at the house again. Hair pulled back. No makeup. No kids. Just her. She knocked once. Then twice. I didn't answer. She stood there for a full 10 minutes. Then sat on the porch. Like it was still hers. Like she still lived there. Like history would open the door for her, even if I didn't. Eventually, she pulled out her phone. I watched the notifications light up from my new apartment. 1 message. 2. 5. 9. Most of them were one-liners. Can we talk? You can't just do this. I was confused. I made a mistake. This isn't fair. That last one made me pause. Fair? I remembered sitting alone in that same house on my birthday, eating a cold sandwich, scrolling through pictures of my wife on a beach with another man. And she was asking me about fair? That night, I logged into the shared financial portal, or what used to be shared. The accounts were already divided. Her access, revoked. My name, the only one on the mortgage. The cars, reassigned. The investments, protected. My lawyer had moved fast, but she hadn't noticed, not until now. Because that same night, she sent one last message. You really moved everything? No accusation. No rage. Just that one question. And I could feel the disbelief through the screen. Like she never thought I'd actually follow through. Like she believed I'd always stay in the background, holding things up, paying the bills, absorbing the disrespect. But I wasn't a background character anymore. So I replied, everything I built is now where it belongs. With me. She didn't answer. Not for hours. Then finally. I didn't think you'd go this far. That's when I realized something. She was never scared of losing me. She was scared of losing the version of me she controlled. The version that said yes. That stayed quiet. That kept the family running while she wrote news stories about who she was and who I wasn't. But that version? He was gone. The next morning, her sister called me. Voicemail only. Said she was worried. That my wife hadn't eaten in 2 days. That she was spiraling. Crying. Begging. That she didn't recognize her anymore. I listened. And then I deleted the message. Because I did recognize her. I recognized the woman who looked me in the eyes and left me behind without blinking. And now? She was just staring at the locked door of a house she used to control. 2 weeks passed. No new texts. No calls. No Instagram posts. Silence. But not the peaceful kind, the kind that buzzes in your ear like static. The kind that says, she's thinking, planning something. Maybe a final plea. Maybe a trap. But it never came. Instead, I got a notification from my lawyer. She signed the papers. No delay. No edits. No fight for more. Just one signature. A single name on the dotted line. That was it. I expected to feel something. Relief. Vindication. Victory. But all I felt was stillness. Not emptiness. Not numbness. Just stillness. The kind you only feel when the storm is past and you're still standing. Later that week, I ran into my daughter. We met for coffee. She hugged me a little tighter than usual. Didn't say much. Just sat with me, sipping in silence. Then, before she left, she looked up and said, she doesn't know who she is without you. I didn't answer. Because I wasn't sure I knew who I was either, not yet. But I was about to find out. A few days later, I stopped by the old house. Not to go inside. Just to look at it. It felt smaller somehow. Like it had shrunk with her absence. Like the echo of the life we built had finally faded. And there, sitting on the front step, was a box. No note. No explanation. Inside, a watch I thought I lost. A tie I wore to our wedding. A photo of the 4 of us at the beach, before everything cracked. And folded at the bottom? One of my old birthday cards. The last one she ever gave me. Handwritten inside. You're the reason this family holds together. Funny. I used to read that and feel proud. Now I read it and feel nothing. Because I had held it together. Until I didn't. Until I realized holding something broken doesn't make you strong. It just keeps your hands bleeding. I didn't take the box. I left it right where it was. Turned. Walked away. Because I didn't need memories anymore. I didn't need closure. I didn't need her to understand what she lost. Some lessons are learned in silence. And sometimes, the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all.